For those of you who are out there in the different social media platforms and those doing Podbeans, for those who were here last week, we thank you. Hope you're back with us again this week so we can do some more conversation. All right. So, again, this is Chris and Sex, and we're looking to have a wonderful segment tonight. We have our partner here. We have Lady Misty on board. Sorry for the delay, y'all. But you know, sometimes when
Hi,
this.
good night.
Hey, hi, Misty. This is my co-host, Lady Misty, and of course, this is, I think, our second or third segment together, and it's just a great, wonderful our time we have in here. So, how we doing today, Misty?
Yes, it is. I'm
All
doing
right,
well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. What's the weather like where you are? I can barely hear you.
Well,
You got to
it
speak loud
is.
so we can hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, let's mess with you, Lady Misty. You go ahead and do your
Oh,
thing.
it is raining right now,
Okay.
so it's a little chilly, but it's warm on the inside. So
There you go. Once you warm on the inside, that's how we do it. We make it nice and hot on the
that's
inside.
right.
So so tonight we got a very interesting program, y'all, and we're gonna have our assistant, wonderful assistant, kind of give us a prelude as to what we're gonna be discussing tonight. So go right ahead and make it happen for us.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you again for
I'm
tuning in.
trying to call you.
So,
She doesn't know that it's me you're talking about, But go
Uh,
on. See, I'm calling you to take the call.
yeah. Here we go.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, wonderful.
yes, we
So
can hear you.
I'm going to be reading from the website ideas.ted.com 10 facts about infidelity. And this article was written in 2014 on January 23rd. Love isn't so
Okay.
much an emotion, says biological anthropologist Helen Fisher, as it is a brain system, one of three that's related to mating and reproduction. It's those other two systems that explain why human beings are capable of infidelity, even as we so highly value love. Here, Fisher explains more about cheating, why it occurs, how common it is, and how a study shows it could potentially correlate to a gene. Number one, pair bonding. One moment, please. Okay, number one, pair bonding is a hallmark of humanity. Data from the demographic yearbooks of the United Nations on 97 societies between 1947 and 1992 indicate that approximately 93.1% of women and 91.8% of men marry by age 49. More recent data indicates that some 85% of Americans will eventually marry. Number two, however, monogamy is only part of the human reproductive strategy. Infidelity is also widespread. Current studies of American couples indicate that 20 to 40% of heterosexual married men and 20 to 25% of heterosexual married women will also have an extramarital affair during their lifetime. Number three, brain architecture may contribute to infidelity. Human beings have three primary brain systems related to love. One, the sex drive, evolved to motivate individuals to seek copulation with a range of partners. Number two, romantic love evolved to motivate individuals to focus their mating energy on specific partners, thereby conserving courtship time and metabolic energy. Number three, partner attachment evolved to motivate mating individuals to remain together at least long enough to rear a single child through infancy together. These three basic neural systems interact with one another and other brain systems in myriad flexibility, combinatorial patterns to provide the range of motivations, emotions, and behaviors necessary to orchestrate our complex human reproductive strategy. But this brain architecture makes it biologically possible to express deep feelings of attachment for one another, while one feels intense romantic love for another individual, while one feels the sex drive for even more extra dyadic partners. Number four, infidelity has been a reality across cultures. It was also common among the classic Greeks and Romans, pre industrial Europeans, historical Japanese, Chinese, and Hindus, and among the traditional Inuit of the Arctic, Kyukuru of the jungles of Brazil, Kofiar of Nigeria, Turu of Tanzania, and many other tribal societies. Number five, there are different types of infidelity. Researchers have broadened the definition of infidelity to include sexual infidelity, that is, sexual exchange with no romantic involvement, romantic infidelity, that's romantic exchanges with no sexual involvement, and sexual and romantic involvement. Number six, myriad psychological, cultural, and economic variables play a role in the frequency and expression of infidelity. But one thing is clear: infidelity is a worldwide phenomenon that occurs with remarkable regularity despite near universal disapproval of this behavior. Number seven, mate poaching is a pronounced trend. In a recent survey of single American men and women, 60% of men and 53% mate poaching, trying to woo an individual away from a committed relationship to begin a relationship with them instead. Mate poaching is also common in 30 other. Number eight, infidelity doesn't necessarily signal an unhappy relationship. Regardless of the correlation between relationship dissatisfaction and adultery among individuals engaging in infidelity is one study. 56% of men and 34% of women rated their marriage as happy or very happy, suggesting that genetics may also play a role in philandering. Number nine, studies show the possibility of a gene that correlates to infidelity. In 2008, Wallum and colleagues investigated whether the various genes affected pair bonding, whether pair bonding behavior in humans. 552 couples were examined. All had been married or cohabiting for at least 5 years. Men carrying the 334 vasopressor allele in a specific region of the vasopressin system scored significantly lower on the partner bonding scale, indicating less feelings of attachment to their spouse. Moreover, their scores were dose dependent. Those carrying two of these genes showed the lowest scores, followed by those carrying only one allele. Men carrying the 334 gene also experienced more marital crisis, including threat of divorce during the past year, and men with two copies of this gene was approximately twice as likely to have had a marital crisis than those who had inherited either one or no copies of this allele. Last, the partners of men with one or two copies of this gene scored significantly lower on questionnaires measuring marital satisfaction. This study did not measure infidelity directly, but it did measure several factors likely to contribute to infidelity. And finally, number 10, several scientists have offered theories for the evolution of human adultery. I have proposed that during prehistory, philandering males selecting for the biological underpinnings of the roving eye in contemporary men. Unfaithful females reaped economic resources from their extra dyadic partnerships, as well as additional males to help with partnering duties in their primary if their primary partner died or deserted them. Moreover, if an ancestral woman bore a child with this extramarital marital partner, she also increased genetic variety in her descendants. Infidelity had unconscious biological payoffs for both males and females throughout thus perpetuating the biological underpinnings and taste for infidelity in and of course that was written by Helen.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. This topic here is one that I think garnered a lot of interest, and already I can see some individuals reaching out. and want to comment and maybe call in, but I want to just kind of advise you that we're going to start taking calls at around 8:25, 8:30, around that time. All right. So I know it's a hot button topic here, and you might be itching to call and share your thoughts.
Yes.
But right, what do you say? What do you say? What do you say, Lady Missy? You think we are right here about that one here?
Yeah, we are. I know
Yeah.
infidelity and cheating is a pretty hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
I know from both sides, both from those who have been cheated on
You can see
and
that
the
when I read
cheater have
conversation
their
start.
different views.
Yes.
So let's go.
And and what was read, folks, it's just a conversation starter. It's really a conversation we have, and many people are afraid to have conversations. We want to paint broad brushes and say and shut it down, especially a lot of our church folks out there. Holy Ghost, Lord. I get it, folks. Conversation is important, and I think that's what's missing here. There is a balance that we try to reach from the spiritual to the temporal to the physical to the emotional and so forth. It all combined together, and we look for balance in what we do. And here on
Right.
Christian Sex, it's about being about an awareness, and have people talk and create a conversation, and out of that can come a sense of betterment, and how can I be the best me, and maybe find out why we do what we do more, um, and become better people.
That's
Yes.
right.
So I'm not sure if any thoughts rang out to you while you were checking this out, Lady Missy. But something came to mind. So share something. I guess I would like to hear your thoughts as well as mine.
Well, just by doing some reading and with conversations, as I said before, cheating is a hot topic. And by the way, before I continue, good night to those who have joined and those who are commenting already. Your comments are valued, so keep them coming while we speak. All right. Um, from a Christian point of view, we know that cheating is wrong, right? Let's just get that out of the way, right? That's based on, because this show is Christians and sex, so let's talk spiritual first. All right. So there's a lot of argument behind Christendom and infidelity, adultery, and all of that, because in Christendom the repercussions of infidelity is much deeper than just having someone on the outside. On a spiritual note, we have what is called soul tie. So, in essence, once you have sex outside of the bond of marriage, you tie your spirit, you tie your soul to another person, which should not be. And so that creates a bond that should not be, because in the whole institution of marriage should be God and the two flesh becoming one. So once you step outside of that bond, it creates a kind of a friction that will put a strain on the marriage. So that's from a
Okay.
spiritual point of view.
Hmm.
So a lot of
You, you,
Christians will a lot of
you
Christians
make
will come out and say, yes, it's wrong because you're tying yourself to another spiritual being, and you're bringing someone else into the relationship.
So as you say, Christian, and Christendom as in Christian. Now,
Mm-hmm.
it's a very broad word, I think, when you say Christian. So you have
Mm-hmm.
Orthodox Christian, you have the Catholic kind of Christian, you have the Pentecostal, you have the
In
different
essence,
factions. So yeah, the
in
biblical
essence,
Christian.
those who believe in the principles of the Bible, those who
Okay.
believe in the principles of the Bible and what God says when it comes on to marriage and how relationships should be.
hmm So you're saying
Right.
The Bible is a framework for what a marriage should look like,
Yes.
and what are
Right.
the parameters that should take place within a marriage relationship.
That's right.
Okay. All right. The thing about it, as I read this, I read as I heard the article being read, is that
Mm-hmm.
numbers are they seem to be higher for men. It seems like they're always outnumbering the ladies. So I guess the
Yes.
men are winners. We winners. We always get the high numbers. But
Yes, because it is said that men really don't have sex for like emotions. It's usually for satisfaction, gratification. So
mm,
I think well, it's my opinion. I'm not a man, so and different men have different ways of going about things. But I'm thinking that because it's not so much emotional for them, it's easier for them to do it over and over with multiple persons.
mhm,
Whereas a woman usually, and I'm not saying that this happens all the time, but usually a woman that decides to cheat, it's usually there's an underlying emotional factor, you
okay,
know. So she's looking to feel needed and that kind of a thing, not necessarily just for the hell of it, you
got
know.
you, got you. So it's interesting because as I looked at the article myself and I was scanning through it, I
Hmm.
realized that you have people, you know there's something about being authentic, right? And I think many
Right.
people who are Christians and people who grew up in church, like myself, we
Hmm.
hide
Hmm.
behind a lot of facade, or true feelings
Yes,
or true
that's true.
expression,
That's true.
and it's almost like how much can I hide my life and look good, and play the part, and
Hmm.
it's sad that
That's right.
sometimes because of the pressure of what you ought to be or supposed to be, then we sometimes live this lie, but
Hmm.
I think that as time goes on and as the world progresses in that sense of the word, people become more open, I believe, more transparent, and they
That's
talk
true.
more. And I think as they talk more, we hear more of what probably needs to be heard, so we can make the corrections. So rather than hiding and not being forthright and being authentic, as I would say earlier, I think we only hurt ourselves.
Hmm.
It's too many marriages where someone cheats and no one knows about it. So, how many people you've known who have cheated and probably brought home a disease to a spouse, and no one
Oh,
knew, no one talked about it, and all of a sudden the other one is now afflicted with something that was done. So
that's
the
right.
idea is that people need to be more open and honest, and sometimes avoid from even getting to the point of having to having an infidelity. You know, so the article again, it tells me that there's a lot of issues around sex. Um,
Yes.
how the culture sees it, how the church sees it, how we talk about it, yeah, how we tend to kind of have this almost like I have the answer for this, and my way is the way, rather than
Hmm.
hearing people and really
Right.
understanding what can be done to alleviate some of these things. That's
But
one of my
before
take
we
on it.
even talk about, oh, I'm sorry, but before we even talk about, how to alleviate, infidelity, we should probably talk about why.
Mhm.
What's the reason why? What's the reason why we cheat?
Mm.
There are a lot of different discussions around that, And I think we could probably dissect that a little because there are like a different reasons. I have heard men especially say they didn't really have a reason, and I'm like, okay,
No, there's always a reason, huh?
so that's right. So I'm like, but then why did you do it if you
Mm,
didn't have a reason? Was it just a feeling, just something that came over you? I think there's always something underlining what should really happen.
hmm
So we could probably talk about that. What are the real truths behind infidelity? What are some of the misconceptions that we have around
hmm
infidelity? Why we think that that's the cause? And then, we move to how do we fix it? What do we do?
it's a complex because people would say, and I could say from my background as a
Hmm.
Christian who was raised in the church, all right,
Hmm.
that it's you need to trust God, pray and fast and pray, and make sure
Hmm.
you read the word and watch your eyes what they see, and watch your ears what they hear, and stay away and all that good stuff, right? And
Hmm.
I find that is absolutely true for me, but I believe that there are many people who doesn't ascribe to Christianity. They do not ascribe to the Bible. They are married to a spouse and they are faithful. They decide, listen to
Hmm.
me, you know what? I will do to you what I would like for myself. And they didn't go
Right.
and read it or study it or pray about it. They said, listen to me, in all sincerity, let me be a honest person the best way I can be. So if I don't want you to cheat on me, then I should not do it. And it doesn't mean that they
Right.
weren't tempted or felt the need maybe at some point, but they held their
Hmm.
word became important to them, that are so important that that's my honor. So I should be able to, if I give you a ring and said from this day forward, I will commit to you. That is stand by that, and that's honorable to me. Opposed to you have folks who claim a
Hmm.
certain uh, faith, and then you find that there's, I mean, I don't mean to knock it, but look at somebody, even in the Catholic Church. I mean, a lot of what happened there, it's supposed to be a safe place. It's supposed to be a place you know, where that's the last thing you want to think
You're
about.
right.
And
You're protected from those kinds of things. Yes.
saying, and then look at it, and then and all the ministers who have had the names and the accolades, when they fall from grace in that sense, look how much it has
Hmm.
affected the entire idea of safe places to go, safe havens. I mean, thank God for the
Right.
ones who are doing the right thing, the ones who
Uh
are
huh.
really standing forth. And we can't paint a broad brush now and say, well, everyone is off because of the few. But the reality is that these are things that affects the entire body.
That's
So
true.
those are things I think about as well.
Hmm. I was going through an article um by, let's see who wrote this now, Anthony Thompson.
Hmm
The title say the source it comes from the article emotional and sexual components
hmm
of extramarital relations. And and in that it lists about nine facts versus myth about cheating and why people cheat, the reasons behind it. And one of them, the first one, says unhappy marriages lead to cheating. And I also heard that in the article that was read earlier, that that's not necessarily the case.
Okay.
because quite a few people, even though they have cheated, it's not necessarily because the marriage is unhappy.
Hmm. That's an interesting point.
Yeah. So a lot of times we think that, well, probably, something is going on inside the marriage. So that's why they stepped out.
Mhm.
But records have shown that that's not necessarily the case because Mr. Thompson here is saying that while unhappy marriages can be the cause of cheating, it's not one of the major causes, and especially not for men. So, as a man, what do you think?
Can you rephrase that the last part of the question?
No, he is saying in the article that while there is some truth behind unhappy marriages being the cause of infidelity, it's not the major cause. So, and he's saying, especially for men, it's not necessarily because the marriage is unhappy or something is going on.
Okay.
So, I'm saying, as a man, what do you think? You
Well,
know?
that's an interesting thing. I mean, you think about male and you think about the
Mm-hmm.
female. Now, the female
Mm-hmm.
has breaks where she has a time when she's more so ovulating and she's getting ready for, you know, to procreate, ready for that whole cycle where,
Mm-hmm.
as a man, we 24/7, all day, all night, every day, right? It's like a
Mm-hmm.
machine that is always in production, and this machine never
Mm-hmm.
stops. Lord help us, Jesus. But anyway, the point is that the point is that I think I think that as a seed donor, so to speak, is a constant
Right.
motion to plant seeds. I think, of course, with God's guidance, He allows us to have
Mm-hmm.
control, to have use the wisdom and so forth. But I think also, you think about fertility, you think about the continuation of the human species. That's a major factor, and that's a huge part of biology.
Mm-hmm.
So we have in these paradigms like marriage and weight, you know, and these dates that we put on these things, it almost seems like it kind of impedes the flow of how things should kind of go in a way. So we have to kind of look at these things and kind of let it work. Maybe a spouse may want to work after, I mean, have a family after she has a career, and he's saying, after a career, I want to have a kid now. The body's saying now, but the career comes in there, and different things that we have elements in life kind of makes everything a little jaggedy. But the
Mm-hmm.
energy and the feeling to want to procreate, that's the idea. It's just that people stop it at sex. Sex, of course, is a tool that gives you the baby. You know what I mean?
Right.
So have not having the I would say the luxury of just having babies. We maximize at least that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to what it is. But I think men are designed differently. We are built differently. It is said that men think about sex every 6 seconds. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that's a lot, you know.
You tell me, I don't know.
And to one, two, okay. But I would say this though. I would say this, that if you look back in the time of the Bible, when Christ was when he dealt with the Israelites, many times he would see their heart condition. So they would do a lot of religious things and outwardly stuff to show that they were on the right track, but he saw the
Mm-hmm.
heart. And the thing that I find interesting about church or even Christians is that there's so much that they will say or do outwardly, but
Right.
if you could see their minds and their heart half the time, you know, it would be a
Mm.
scary place to visit. You know, it'd be a scary party.
Okay.
You know, and I'm guilty of that. You know, I said, Lord, if you expose my mind in the screen right now in this church, I'll be a dead man. Lord Jesus, they would hang with the dry. I'll be, I'll be the walking dead. But God
Oh
is good.
my.
No one can see
Eh,
the mind except Him.
that's right.
Isn't He great? He's
That's
awesome,
right.
and only He can fix the mind. You know, if we allow Him to fix it. Um, but uh, but yeah, it's interesting how it is. But I think you know we have almost like yin and yang. We have to have the balance. We can't have two people, male and female, going at it the same way. We'll have probably too much babies, maybe too much. Maybe people wouldn't work at all. There's all day long just doing stuff, and that'll be too much.
Yeah.
So you got to have a balance.
Hmm.
God knew what He was doing when He created the sexes and the difference and the drives and so forth.
So, well, so we have two questions here. Before we go into the questions, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. All those who are joining us, Deja Vu, good night. Tamiki, I hope I pronounced that okay. I hope that's the right pronunciation. And he or she has this question: Have you been cheated on? So my answer is yes. I know what that feels like, and it's not a nice feeling. Fortunately, it hasn't been since I got married, so that's a good thing. But I was in a long term relationship before and was cheated on, so it's not a nice feeling at all. And the question is also, is infidelity just sex? Or can it be emotional cheat? Can it be an emotional cheat where you just attach yourself to somebody, no sex involved? Or do we have to do the deed?
Well, something. I've had a question, and I've actually had to look at it very, 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 very. I would say deeply, but you think of emotional cheating, and many
Mm-hmm.
people bypass that and say, well, I didn't have anything physical, so it's
Right.
somehow exempt. But the thing is that if you found out that your spouse had an emotional cheating experience with
At,
somebody else,
yeah.
and then opposed to physical, would it make a difference for you? You see, because many people have gone to the counselor, husband and wife have gone to a counselor and have talked about, he cheated on me or she cheated on me physically, but they never talked about the emotional time when maybe she was at the job with the boss having a very warm, comfortable conversation that felt very comforting, very nice. Maybe they
Mm-hmm.
hugged a little too long. Maybe he had a moment when he went on a trip and he was talking
Mm-hmm.
to the lady and the
Mm-hmm.
hotel lobby, and it was very very comforting, and it was a very emotional
Mm-hmm.
experience. I sat there too long talking to this lady, knowing that he was
Mm-hmm.
married. So when is it cheating? When does it make sense? Is it when you had a quick thought about somebody in that intimate moment, and you kind of pass it out to your mind, or is it when you linger on it for a long time, or is it when what is it? So it becomes almost complex in a way. Even though we tend to make it sound simple. So I don't know. It's intriguing to me, you know.
I think it becomes, emotional cheating when it becomes long term. I mean, having a quick thought, I think it
Hmm.
becomes cheating when you act on it.
Okay.
So not necessarily with sex, just acting on the emotion and the feeling that you're having with the other person and the other person joining you. I think that that's when it becomes cheating,
Hmm.
because
Ladies and
then
gentlemen,
both persons are engaged in whatever is going on. So because I can have an emotional feeling towards you and you don't know and you're not taking part in it. I
Uh-huh.
wouldn't consider that cheating because I would think that
Okay.
both parties need to be aware of what's going on and participating what's going on, whether it's physical or not.
Okay.
So that's
Well,
my
ladies and gentlemen, you
opinion.
listen to
So
Christian and Sex. You listen to Christian and Sex, and we have a good time here. Lady Missy, and this is Keith, THE, the entrepreneur. And folks, you're now welcome to
mhm,
call in. You can hear your voices. You can hear what you have to say. This is a show where you have a voice, and like I say, it's a conversation. It's not a condemnation here or a judging here. It's really just having a conversation.
mhm,
So feel free to call in and you can hear what you have to say.
right.
Yeah, I think it's a great topic. Um, I I know someone. I've known someone who really was really broken about her spouse cheating, and
Uh-huh.
she really had everything going for her as far as their finances was great, and they're pretty
Mhm.
good structured life. I mean, they were both working, doing well, and all of a sudden the spouse decided to cheat. Now, should you give that up? Because many couples have thrown away the relationship because of
So
infidelity. So should they
so
give
was
that up?
there a reason why?
Um, and there always is a reason why, but the the fact that it happened, should one consider everything else and try to restore that? Because, or should they really just say, well, that cheating is for me, it's a broken of my covenant, and it's like, it's just so deep that I
Mhm.
don't even try to restore it. What do you feel about the concept there?
Wow. I think it depends. I'm kind of torn where that is concerned because I do believe in like a second chance, but once cheating has occurred, we know that trust is broken,
Ah,
whether it's physical or emotional. Trust is broken, and that is something that takes years to rebuild because
that trust
then
level.
I'm going to be second. Yeah, because I'm going to start second guessing everything that you say to me now. Are you where you say you are going to be? Is
Um,
that really what you're going to do? All of that things. And then it builds insecurities. So it's hard. It's hard. And a lot of times, people who do give second chance, whether it's a male or a female, there are instances where there's a second occurrence. How do you handle that? So it's kind of tricky for me. It depends on the partner that you have, how well you know the partner. Is the partner really, 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 sorry? Because yes, I've known couples that have gone through that, and they have grown from it, and they are still together today. But will that happen for everybody? Is it? I think that you have to be willing, as both parties. You have to be willing to reconcile, because I'm telling you, trust is something that is really hard to rebuild. So it's gonna take a lot of work. It's gonna take a lot of work.
so folks out there, if you want to call in, you got to click on the phone icon. If you want to call in. But the question I want to ask again, for those couples out there who might be listening, if your spouse was to
Mhm.
cheat on you, is it better for them to tell you about it, Or would you want them to tell you that they did or not? Would you rather not know? Or
Yeah,
would
I
you
would
rather
want
to
you to,
know that?
I would want you to tell me. I don't want to, I would want to find out by a third party, so I would want you to tell me. But that's me. But,
Okay,
you know,
got you. Hmm. So in other words, uh, if you had the option of not knowing at all or knowing, you would prefer to know from the
yeah,
spouse. Okay,
yeah,
and so
I'd want you to fess up.
oh, fess up. I hear you. That's what I've heard that word. Fess up, man.
Yeah.
Like it is, you know. Yeah,
I don't,
like it is.
yeah.
I heard a comment down here. I'm not sure if you can see it, Lady Missy. The name
Uh-huh.
is it Tamaki. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can. I can. He is saying that his wife, it's not like his wife cheated on him and it still hurts. That's what he's saying.
Ooh, yeah. So it's interesting because most
Yeah.
times when people think of cheating, they usually think of the males cheating. You know, I guess because it's such a pronounced in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Many women,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I guess for men it really hurts more. It seemed to hurt more anyway.
Right.
You know, it's like our I would say hurt more, but I would say it
But
seemed like they can't
I
handle
don't
it.
know what
Women, what do you think?
but
I think women can handle it
but
better.
that is something that yeah, that is something that always amazes me because there are men who will cheat on a dime,
Yeah,
right? And when you find out as a woman, they expect you to forgive them and they crawl on hands and knees and do all that. But the minute they find out that their woman or wife or so is cheating, like it's like the whole world has come to an end. A lot of women
yeah,
have
they
lost their
become
lives because of that. And I'm like,
wow.
why? Then don't do it then if you can't handle it.
Yeah. Lady Missy, some cultures, and sad to say, this part of the culture that I'm from, men tend to have this mentality that's it's pretty scary. You know, have a side piece
Mm-hmm.
or this or some other thing on the side, and it should be okay with the wife. And
Mm,
you know,
exactly.
unbelievable. And some men go as far as have kids outside the marriage and bring him home. You know, and expect the wife
Right.
accept it is
To
acceptable.
be to come with open arms.
Open arms. I'm saying that's amazing. You know, amazing how that is. But this whole idea of infidelity, it covers such a wide range. Then you have the men now who are getting older. All right, the men getting older. They're now trying to figure out
Mm-hmm.
the prices, as they say, and I'm trying to see if I still got it. You know, and a young girl
Mm-hmm.
is like, wow, this is good. Uh, it's a big deal for the
Mm-hmm.
that somebody young looking at me, and sometimes they lose it for the moment of just excitement and the the fun of it, as they would say, and it ends up into such misery, as such pain most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know. It just always amazes me.
yep, it really does,
Always.
it really does. Uh, the idea of this segment here is 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 uh is there's an objective here, you know, and a big part of the objective is that as we talk about infidelity and so forth, and for those who might be listening on in, is that where are you in your life? Are you at that point of I think I'm having a call here. Let me just answer and see what this individual might be wanting to share with us. Listener, you're on the air.
Hey, how are you guys?
Yes.
Hi,
Hey,
good
how are you?
night. Good night.
Yes. What's your question, sir?
We're good.
Nice.
We're good. Thank you for joining us.
Hmm.
Uh, well, do you hear me? Like, Like, can I talk? Like,
Yes,
Can you
you can
hear?
answer.
Can you hear?
We here.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. So, you've been talking. My stomach. I'm a Polish guy, and you've been
Okay.
talking. You've been talking about cheating and stuff and issues with humans, and uh,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to say that I have been in like really, really kind of messed up relationship, and I
were you
was
the
cheated
cheater?
on.
Were you cheated on, or did you cheat? How did that?
I was cheated on. I was cheated on.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's not a big. It's just a thing. Like, well, it happens. It happens. But in my opinion, one needs to remember that cheating is, well, how to explain it? How to say it? It's like being dishonest to oneself.
Mm-hmm.
This is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, um, well, this is my opinion. This is what I think.
Okay. Well, thank you for your call. By the way, where are you calling from?
Ireland. I'm Polish.
Oh,
I'm
Polish.
Polish.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm Polish, but I'm calling from. I live in Ireland, so well, I'm Polish.
Oh, you live in Ireland. Okay.
Yeah, but I live in Ireland. Yes,
All right.
yes.
All right. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate the your input here. And like I said, you're right. Having to be cheated on is a very difficult thing. I can imagine. Can't imagine, but I know it can't be very easy to have that trust broken. And so
Absolutely, absolutely. Sorry for butting in, but absolutely broken. Absolutely broken.
mhm. Wow.
Uh,
So how did
well,
you find? How did you cope? What did you do? Did you went to counseling? Did you went to church and did you pray? Are you? How did you?
I was, if you can say, I was really, really pissed off. I was like,
You were,
why?
you upset.
Because
Yeah.
I had been very faithful,
Mm-hmm.
very, you know, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then it turns out that you, that your wife is sleeping with like your friends, basically someone you can.
Wow.
I used to go
Okay.
friends, like friends
Yeah.
with capital
Mm-hmm.
F,
That had
and oh, it was yes.
that should be very very tough. And there are many people I believe can speak of that pain. But I see that you're here and you're sharing, and hopefully someone can even hear this and say, "There's something. Let me not even go there," because there are people right now who might be thinking about it. They might be on the verge. And this conversation here, in this conversation, they may say, "You know what? Let me not do this. Let me not cause pain on someone else. Let me stay committed because a part of what we do here is not just to talk; is how we can have someone maybe rethink about their own lives, and maybe rebuild their lives, and not to let hate, because sometimes when you're hurt, you can carry that anger and that hate, and then you yourself don't get healing from that, and you almost make it compound the pain for yourself, which is not a good thing. So the thing that we also encourage is that if you're feeling hurt and pain,
Well, I understand what you are
yeah,
saying, but once you are in this kind of situation, it hurts. It hurts. Man, believe me, it hurts like it's the
hmm
trust that you have had with a person you have been involved with. It has like, well, I don't know how to describe it. Like it hurts a lot. You can say like, oh, it's a woman. Well, I will meet another woman, but uh, well, it's really hard. I don't know how to describe it. I haven't got a clue. Really, really.
Okay,
Yeah, understand.
understand. Well, thank you. And your name? What's your name?
Thomas,
Um,
Thomas.
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 Thank you for
Okay.
sharing with us, Thomas. And we are people who believe that no matter what you come through, what you face, there's a good in everything. There's something that's a lesson. There's something that can be positive in spite of everything. And you're right. Trust takes time to build, and I wish for you the best, my brother. Hang in there. You seem to be a good brother, and thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, okay. Last question, or kind of question. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
how basically, what would be your advice? How do you recover from being absolutely in love with someone, and
Mm-hmm.
your love, your trust was absolutely broken? It's like through over window, like
Could I ask you a
like.
question?
Yeah.
Could I ask you a question? The person who did it, who cheated on you, are they remorseful about it? Are they repentant about it? Do they want to restore the relationship?
No,
Okay,
no.
all right. So, so
Dagmara,
Okay, so
hmm,
sorry for cutting in. Dagmara,
mm-hmm.
her name was Dagmara. She
Mm-hmm.
was kind of love of my life, and
Right.
just I don't know how to say it. Just, just, just I don't know. Cheated on me absolutely, and you can say, oh well, I have this advice or that advice. Uh, but if you live with someone for like 20 years together,
Wow.
sharing your
Yeah,
life,
that's tough.
it's
Yeah, that's tough.
yeah, it's
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
one thing I can tell you, my brother, I can't tell you what to do, but I can encourage you what not to do. And and one of the things I would encourage you is to stay with people who can encourage you. Stay with people who can uplift you. All right. If you find that when you're alone you get depressed, you can look out for those things. So what you don't do is very important as well. So that's something that I've never experienced that before. So I can't really advise you and what you ought to do. But I know that when something happened to us as human beings, if we stay in certain posture or a certain mindset, we can exacerbate the situation, make it worse, or we can make our lives better. Because at the end of the day, I own my choices. I control my mind. I control my thoughts, and that's the power that I have within me. So whatever happened on the outside, I can't control that. What happened on the inside, I can control that. So that would be my encouragement to you. You're alive.
okay. Sorry for butting in. Thank
Yeah.
you very much for chatting to me. Uh, well, uh, well, I don't know how am I going to live through this sort of thing. 20,
Thomas,
20 years, yes.
may I ask, did this happen recently?
Well, I'm 50 years old, so it happened
Mm-hmm.
like a few years ago. I was like
Yeah.
mid 40s, mid 40s roughly. Uh,
Right. Okay.
now, now I haven't got a clue how you guys, you probably have wives or husbands and or partners,
Mm-hmm.
or what you call it. Uh, but being cheated on like
Mm-hmm.
like like my wife did on me. It's believe me, you can give advices and everything and stuff, but it's beyond understanding, beyond in my opinion. Well, it's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things is that it's good that you're talking about it. That's one good thing. Uh,
Yeah,
you
but
have accept.
it's
Yeah,
not going to help you
it still
much. Like,
it
well,
still hurts. Yes.
it's
Have you ever thought about speaking to a professional like a counselor or so to
no.
help you through the process?
No, I believe that the stuff that goes on, it's like stuff that goes on. It's like you need to deal with problems, well, yourself, in
Yeah.
my opinion. But guys, sorry, I don't know your names, but there's a guy, you, like, there's a well, if you live with someone for like 20 years and
Mm-hmm.
you are committed
Yes.
for
Mm-hmm.
this and stuff, and then it turns out, excuse me French, I'm sorry, excuse me French, it
Yeah.
turns out she fucks uh, your your friends, like your,
Mr. Thomas,
yes.
don't mean to cut you. We're winding down in time, but you know what? I would encourage you this. I would encourage you to stay busy. All right. You just stay busy. You can probably get in some volunteering things and helping other people. That's one of the ways you can really get out of yourself. Because sometimes you stay there too long, you will get in a sinkhole of despair. So you want to be get busy, get volunteer, help others, do things, do things.
Sorry, sorry for interrupting. I used to go to gym, swimming pool stuff. I try to like kill
That's
the memories,
yes.
but well, it doesn't work.
Well,
It's
well, you know what? You know what? You can leave an email. Maybe we can send some resources to you. Maybe some links, some places you can probably check out. So just you can send an email. At you can go to Yumi Radio Live, right? Yumi Radio
yeah.
Live at gmail.com. So the letter UME Radio Live at Gmail. Just send an email. Maybe we can probably get some resources out to you and some ideas of what you can do. But we got to wrap it up. We're winding down. I thank you for your call.
Okay, guys. Thanks for talking to you. It was nice chat.
Thank you.
Well, I'm a little bit drunk, so don't get me wrong if
Yeah.
I said.
All right.
Well, I've been
Mm-hmm.
drinking since then. Like, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And folks, you remember, folks, you can get the app. We have the app. You can get it on Google. You can get it on iTunes. You can get it on uh, Play Store. You can get an app, and you can hear the entire.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
thanks. I'm not going to bother you. Like,
yeah.
you
But
have
we
your
have to run now.
show. And,
We got to run. We got to run because we're on time right now. We can't be on time. So, thank you.
okay, thanks. See
All
you
right.
guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
But now I don't know how to turn it off. That I don't know. Sorry guys, I haven't got a clue how to turn this thing off.
Okay, folks. We thank you for joining us again. It's great. Me and my co-host, Lady Misty. And again, guys can get us on the app, Yumi Radio app. And again, thank you for joining us here in Christian and Sex. I look forward to see you next Monday. We are on every Monday at 8 o'clock. So set your
That's
watch,
right.
and then we'll be rolling in with some new hot topics. All right. So thank you. And as they say, live, laugh, love, and don't forget that be grateful is the greatest thing you can do.
All right. Good night.
Good night, y'all.